My wife, Olivia, and I have been together for 12 years, married for 8. We've had our ups and downs like any couple, but I never, in a million years, thought she would betray me like this. And with my brother, my own blood. This all came to light when I came home early from a business trip last weekend. I was supposed to be gone for another 2 days, but the conference ended early, and I thought I'd surprise Olivia. I had this whole romantic plan. Pick up her favorite takeout, maybe bring home some flowers, act like the cheesy husband she always teased me for being. When I got home, the house was quiet, but something felt off. You know when you can just sense something's wrong? That gut feeling that tells you life as you know it is about to change? I walked upstairs, and the closer I got to our bedroom, the more I heard sounds. Moaning. Low, breathy, unmistakable. At first, I froze. My brain couldn't process it. Like, no way. This is a movie moment. This is something that happens to other people. Then, something snapped inside me. I grabbed my phone, because let's be real, my lawyer was going to need evidence, and I pushed open the door. And there she was, Olivia, my wife, in our bed, with my brother, Nathan. I think I blacked out for a second. My vision went blurry, my ears started ringing. It was like my entire reality shattered in that moment, and I was watching it all from outside my body. And you know what the worst part was? She wasn't even shocked. She barely flinched. No scrambling, no desperate excuses. No, it's not what it looks like. She just sighed, sat up, pulled on her robe, and said, "You weren't supposed to find out like this, but at least now we can stop pretending." Stop pretending. Like our marriage was some act she had to keep up for my benefit. Nathan, my own brother, didn't say a word. He just sat there, looking like a guilty dog who got caught knocking over the trash. I wanted to hit him. I really did. But something in me told me he wasn't worth it. Instead, I turned on my phone camera, took one long, slow pan of the scene, and said, "I hope this was worth destroying your family over." Then I walked out. I don't remember driving to my best friend James' place, but somehow, I got there. When he opened the door and saw my face, he didn't even ask what was wrong. He just stepped aside, let me in, and handed me a beer. And then, after I told him everything, his face went pale. "Dan," he said, hesitating. I knew. At first, I thought I misheard him. "You knew?" He nodded, looking like he wanted to be anywhere but there. "I didn't know how to tell you, man. Olivia's mom caught them. Years ago. She made them stop, but they just went underground. She took money from Nathan to keep quiet." At this point, I thought I was going to throw up. Not only had my wife and brother been betraying me for years, but my own mother-in-law was in on it. And that's when it hit me. I was the last one to know. Everyone had been keeping this secret from me. My wife, my brother, my own family by extension. And now, I have no idea what to do. I don't even know who I can trust anymore. After James admitted that he knew about Olivia and Nathan, I just sat there in silence. I think I was waiting for my brain to catch up, to process the fact that one of the only people I trusted had been keeping this from me. James kept talking, kept trying to explain how he wanted to tell me, how he didn't know how he thought maybe it had ended years ago, but all I heard was bullsh asterisk T. I finished my beer, got up, and walked out. I heard him call after me, but I didn't look back. At that moment, I had one goal. I needed to talk to my parents. I drove straight to my parents' house, my hands gripping the wheel, so hard my knuckles turned white. My mom opened the door, smiling, until she saw my face. "Daniel, honey, what's wrong?" I laughed. Actually laughed like some kind of lunatic, because the fact that she could ask me that, when she had to know, made me feel like I was losing my mind. "You tell me, Mom," I said, stepping inside. "You tell me why I just walked in on my wife and Nathan, and why the hell I'm the last person to know about it." I watched her face crumble in real time. She reached out like she wanted to comfort me, but I stepped back. Dad came out of the kitchen, frowning. "What's going on?" Mom swallowed hard. "Dan, it's not what you think." "Don't." I cut her off. "Do not stand there and lie to me. Just tell me the ***king truth." Silence. And then, Dad sighed. He sighed like this was just some inconvenience, some minor issue that was finally coming to light. "It's complicated," he said. And that's when I knew. They knew. Maybe not from the beginning, but at some point, they found out. And instead of telling me, instead of standing up for me, they stayed quiet. You're my parents, I said, my voice shaking. You were supposed to protect me. Mom burst into tears. We thought we were, she sobbed. We thought if we ignored it, if we let it pass, Nathan would stop, Olivia would come to her senses, and you'd never have to know. You still here? Are you actually hearing yourself? You thought I'd be better off living a lie than knowing the truth. Dad ran a hand down his face, clearly exhausted with me already. What were we supposed to do, Dan? Blow up the family? You and Nathan are both our sons. This wasn't easy for us either. I wanted to scream. I wanted to flip the goddamn coffee table. Instead, I just nodded, stepping back toward the door. I get it now, I said quietly. Nathan matters more. He always has. And then I walked out. I spent that night in a cheap motel, staring at the ceiling, trying to wrap my head around what the hell my life had become in 24 hours. Around 3 a.m., my phone started buzzing. Olivia. I let it ring. She called again. And again. Finally, I picked up. Daniel, she said, her voice all soft, all fake concern. Come home. I laughed bitterly. Home? Let's just talk, she continued, ignoring my tone. I know you're upset. You don't know sh*T, I snapped. You don't know how this feels, Olivia. But you will. Because when I'm done, you're going to feel every ounce of what I'm feeling right now. She exhaled, frustrated. Dan, come on. I know this is a shock, but let's be adults about this. There's no need to make things messy. No need to make things messy. I repeated. You've been **king my brother, Olivia. For years. You made this messy the second you spread your legs for him. That's when the mask slipped. Fine, she said, her voice suddenly cold. You want to be dramatic? Go ahead. But don't act like you're some victim here. You were never present, Dan. You were always working, always gone. What was I supposed to do? Sit around and wait for you to notice me? My grip tightened on the phone. Yes, Olivia. That's literally what marriage is. She scoffed. You're so naive. I was unhappy, and Nathan was there. It just happened. That phrase. That **king phrase. Like it was a slip-up. Like she tripped and fell onto my brother's **ck. I inhaled sharply. Olivia, this is the last conversation we'll ever have where I don't absolutely destroy you. If I were you, I'd start getting my affairs in order. I hung up. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I did research. Lawyers. Financial assets. Ways to make sure Olivia got nothing. By morning, I had a plan. Step 1, get a top-tier divorce attorney. I wasn't just going to divorce her. I was going to make sure she regretted ever crossing me. Step 2, expose everything. Olivia wanted to act like this was no big deal. Fine. But everyone, our friends, her family, our co-workers, was going to know exactly what kind of person she was. Step 3, make Nathan's life hell. He stole from me. Not money, not possessions. He stole my trust, my family, my sense of security. He was going to pay for it. But first, I needed more information. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I called Olivia's mother. And what she told me, it changed everything. I wasn't even sure why I called her. Maybe because James had mentioned that Olivia's mom knew years ago. Maybe because I wanted someone to finally tell me the truth. When she picked up, she sounded groggy, like she had just woken up. Daniel, she mumbled. It's early. Is everything okay? I laughed at that. Is everything okay? What a question. No, Susan, I said. Everything is not okay. But you already knew that, didn't you? There was a long pause. Then a quiet sigh. I take it you found out. Found out. Like I just discovered we were out of milk. Not that my wife had been screwing my brother behind my back for years. How long? I asked. Silence. How long? She hesitated, then finally admitted, I caught them about 5 years ago. My stomach dropped. I had been expecting 1 or 2 years, but 5? 5 years. I repeated. And you just kept quiet? I confronted Olivia, Susan said quickly, like that somehow made it better. I told her it was wrong. I begged her to stop. But she didn't, I said flatly. No. And instead of telling me, I continued, you let her keep lying to me. You let her play happy wife while she was screwing my own brother. Daniel, Susan said softly, you have to understand, Olivia is my daughter. I couldn't just betray her. I let out a bitter chuckle. But betray me was fine? Of course not. I I just thought she'd come to her senses. I thought if I pushed too hard, she'd cut me off, and then I wouldn't be able to guide her back to her marriage. That was when it hit me. Susan wasn't just covering for Olivia. She had been actively helping her. You knew every time she cheated, didn't you? I accused. You knew when she went to him. You probably even helped cover for her. More silence. Did you? I pressed. Did you ever make excuses for her when she was with him? Her voice was barely above a whisper. Once or twice. I felt like I was going to be sick. My mother-in-law had been an accomplice in my own wife's affair. I don't even remember how the conversation ended. I think I just hung up before I said something I couldn't take back. After that, I went straight to the best divorce attorney I could find. This guy was the shark of all sharks. The kind of lawyer who made other lawyers nervous. I laid everything out, from the affair to the deception to the fact that my own family had been involved. He listened, nodding, jotting down notes, and then he looked at me and said, "We're going to ruin her." Music, too. My ears. We started working on a strategy. First, we froze our joint bank account. Olivia had no clue yet, but when she tried to access it, she was in for a surprise. Next, I made sure she would get nothing in the divorce. The house? Mine. She had signed a postnup after some financial trouble a few years ago, and it ensured that in case of infidelity, she got zero assets. Past me really came through on that one. Then came the exposure phase. Look, I wasn't interested in revenge just for the sake of it. But Olivia and Nathan had humiliated me, lied to me, and made me look like a goddamn fool. So, I made sure everyone knew the truth. First, I sent an email to our entire family. Mom, Dad, cousins, aunts, uncles, everyone. I kept it simple. Hey everyone, I just wanted to share why Olivia and I are divorcing. Turns out, she's been sleeping with Nathan for the past 5 years. She and Mom knew about it the whole time, but they made sure I was the last to find out. Figured you all deserve to know who you're dealing with. Then I took it public. I posted on Facebook, nothing too dramatic, just a simple. After 8 years of marriage, Olivia decided she preferred my brother instead. Wish them all the best. The comments blew up. Some people thought I had been hacked. Others were in complete shock. Then I got messages from people who had suspected something, who had seen Olivia and Nathan being too close at family gatherings but didn't want to say anything. And then I got a message from Nathan's wife. Oh yeah, did I mention Nathan was married? Yeah, my brother wasn't just betraying me. He was also betraying his own wife, Sarah. They had been married for 10 years, had 2 kids together, and she had no idea. So, I sent her everything. The texts, the videos, the proof I had gathered. It broke her, but she thanked me. I'm taking everything from him, she told me. Everything. And I believe her. When Olivia finally realized what was happening, she lost her mind. She showed up at my apartment. Yeah, I moved out, banging on the door like a maniac. When I finally opened it, she was furious. "How dare you put our business out there?" she shrieked. I laughed in her face. "Our business? You mean the business where you had my brother for 5 years, and let me be the last to know? You're ruining my life," she screamed. "No, Olivia," I said coldly. "You ruined your life. I'm just making sure you finally face the consequences." She stormed off after that, but not before throwing a full-on tantrum in the hallway. I had my phone recording the whole time. As for Nathan, well, his life is also in ruins. His wife is divorcing him and going after full custody of their kids. He's also about to lose his job because, oh yeah, his company has a strict policy against workplace affairs. And guess who he had been bringing to his office after hours? Oops. I'd love to say I feel great, that I feel free. And in some ways, I do. But mostly, I just feel empty. It's weird, realizing that the people you trusted most were never really on your side. That you spent years of your life with a person who was just waiting for you to turn your back so they could betray you. But I'll be okay, because for the first time in a long time, I know who my real friends are. And Olivia, Nathan, my family, they can all go to hell. By now, everyone knows about Olivia and Nathan. My parents? Still doing their best, let's all just move on routine. Spoiler alert, it's not working. Nathan? Officially getting divorced. His soon-to-be ex-wife Sarah is going scorched earth, and I am here for it. Olivia? Well, let's just say karma is doing its thing. Olivia tries to win me back. Yes, seriously. I was at my apartment one night, enjoying the peace and quiet, when my phone lit up with a text. Olivia, can we talk? I stared at the screen for a long time before responding. Me about what? Olivia, us. I think we made a mistake, Dan. Oh, we made a mistake? That's rich. Me. You mean you made a mistake? Olivia, we both did. I should have been honest with you, but you weren't there for me emotionally. We lost touch with each other. She really had the nerve to flip this on me. As if the logical response to feeling emotionally distant in a marriage is to have a long-term affair with your husband's brother. At this point, I was in no mood to humor her. Me. Olivia, let me be clear. There is no we anymore. You ended that the second you decided our marriage was worth less than a cheap F***K with my brother. Her response? Olivia, I still love you, Dan. Can we just talk in person? I wish I could say I was strong and ignored her, but curiosity got the best of me. I needed to see just how far her delusions went. So I agreed. We met at a coffee shop the next day, and I swear to God, she walked in like nothing had happened. Hair done, nails perfect, that same confident stride she's always had. She sat down, smiled like we were old friends, and actually reached for my hand. I pulled back, so fast she almost knocked over her coffee. Dan, she said, pouting, I miss you. I let out a short laugh. You miss me? The husband you lied to for years while screwing my brother behind my back? She sighed like I was being unreasonable. I know I hurt you, but we can fix this. I've been thinking, and maybe we needed this. Maybe this was what had to happen for us to find each other again. Are you serious right now? I said, blinking at her. I was confused, she continued. But being apart from you has made me realize that I made a huge mistake. We can go to therapy, rebuild our connection. I know it won't be easy, but I cut her off. You don't want me back, I said, leaning back in my chair. You just don't want to deal with the consequences of your actions. Your reputation is trashed, your family is pissed at you, and your affair partner is about to lose everything. Now you're realizing that maybe, just maybe, you threw away a good thing, and you want to backtrack before you end up alone. Her jaw clenched. That's not true. I shrugged. Even if it isn't, I don't care. I don't want you back, Olivia. I want you as far away from me as humanly possible. For the first time, I saw panic in her eyes. She was losing control of the situation, and she knew it. You don't mean that, she whispered. I took out my phone and pulled up a photo of the divorce papers I had filed. I slid it across the table. Ido. And I already made it legal. I have to give her credit. She held it together longer than I thought she would. But when she finally snapped, it was spectacular. You're ruining my life, she hissed. I laughed. No, Olivia. You ruined your life. I'm just making sure you face the consequences. She went off about how I was being petty, how I was throwing away everything we built, how people get past affairs all the time. I just sat there, sipping my coffee, completely done. She finally grabbed her purse, stood up, and pointed at me. You'll regret this, Dan. I smiled. I already regret wasting 12 years on you. And then she stormed out. I thought that was the end of the dramatics, but nope. Nathan had to get his moment too. A few days later, he called me. I almost ignored it, but curiosity got the best of me. Dan, he said, his voice tired. Can we talk? What could you possibly have to say to me? I asked. I have ******, he admitted. I don't even have an excuse. I don't know what's wrong with me. You're a selfish piece of ****T, Nathan. That's what's wrong with you. He sighed. I know, man, and I know I can't take it back. But you're my brother, and I can't stand the thought of you hating me forever. I laughed. You should have thought about that before you betrayed me. I don't have a brother anymore, Nathan. You made sure of that. Dan, come on. I hung up. The divorce is moving forward. Olivia gets nothing thanks to our postnup. She's scrambling to figure out her next move, but that's no longer my problem. Nathan's wife, Sarah, has gone full scorched earth mode. She's getting everything in the divorce and has already moved out with the kids. Nathan is living in a tiny apartment, miserable. My parents? Still trying to play Switzerland, but I've made it clear. They either stand by me or they lose me too. Their choice. I started therapy because honestly, this ****T messed me up. I refuse to let it define me, but I also know I need to process it before I can fully move on. But here's the biggest update. No, I'm not jumping into anything serious. But there's someone new. A woman I met at the gym, of all places. She's funny, down to earth, and has no idea about my situation yet. And for the first time in years, I feel like my life is my own again. I don't know what the future holds, but I do know one thing. I'm never letting anyone treat me like that ever again. So, let's talk about Olivia first. She's not handling the divorce well. At all. When I say I left her with nothing, I mean nothing. Our house? Mean it. She tried to fight it, but thanks to the post-nup, she didn't stand a chance. Money? Frozen joint accounts. She's been couch surfing with a friend because she can't afford a new place yet. Reputation? Destroyed. Everyone in our social circle knows what she did. And let's just say, people aren't exactly lining up to offer her sympathy. The final blow? She got fired. Apparently, her boss wasn't too thrilled about the workplace affair rumors circulating around her. Turns out, sleeping with your husband's brother while being a client-facing professional isn't a good look. The best part? She actually had the audacity to text me. Olivia, I hope you're happy. You ruined my life. I just stared at the message and laughed. No, Olivia, you ruined your own damn life. I just stopped covering for you. Now on to Nathan. Remember how I said his wife, Sarah, went full scorched earth? Well, she's taking him for everything. Full custody of their kids, alimony and child support that's bleeding him dry. Sold their house, the one she had the majority claim to, and moved to another city to start fresh. Nathan? He's living in a tiny, crappy apartment and working extra shifts to afford the lifestyle he thought he'd have with Olivia. And the cherry on top? Olivia doesn't even want him anymore. She dumped him within weeks of me exposing them. Apparently, he was just exciting when they were sneaking around, but now that they're both single and miserable? Not so much. Last I heard, Nathan tried reaching out to Sarah, begging her to reconsider the divorce. She told him to go F***K himself. Good for her. My parents finally pick a side. I hadn't spoken to my parents since they tried to guilt me into moving on and keeping the family together. They knew about the affair for years and still expected me to just be okay with it. I made it clear, you either stand by me or you lose me. Your choice. For weeks, they tried to stay neutral. Then, something happened. Nathan showed up at their house, drunk, ranting about how everything was ruined and how it was all my fault. He apparently threw a tantrum, knocking over some furniture, scaring the hell out of my mom. That was their breaking point. Mom called me the next morning crying. We should have supported you from the start, she admitted. I'm so sorry. It took a lot for me to accept that apology. I'm still not sure I've fully forgiven them, but at least they finally see Nathan for what he is. Now, on to something good for once. I mentioned in my last update that I met a woman from my gym. Her name is Rachel, and she's honestly been a breath of fresh air. We've been taking things slow. She doesn't know every detail of my past yet, just that I'm going through a divorce. But she's kind, funny, and has this no-bullsh**T attitude that I really respect. She's not some rebound. I actually like her. For the first time in a long time, I feel excited about the future. So, where do I stand now? Divorce finalized. Olivia is officially out of my life. Nathan is miserable. Lost his wife, lost his kids, lost his home. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. My parents finally see the truth. It took way too long, but they've cut ties with Nathan. I'm moving forward. Therapy is helping, Rachel is great, and for the first time in a long time, I feel free. Would I go back and change things? Maybe. But honestly, I'm just glad it's over. This will probably be my last update, but to everyone who supported me on this insane journey, thank you. I never thought I'd be here, but I am, and I'm better off for it. And to Olivia and Nathan, in case you ever read this, FK you both. I win.